Well, hey friends, it's Mac. It is another week and another opportunity to talk about the burning questions. And so the question that we didn't get a chance to talk about last week, but we will this week, is when you were a kid, what did you most get in trouble doing? So for me, I think I mentioned it in the blog, I just got in trouble for being lazy. I was a terrible student, and I think that was what drove my parents the craziest. When I got older and I could drive, I got grounded a few times because I would, with a buddy of mine, we'd try to sneak out at night and go meet our girlfriends' places. And then one night the truck broke down and I had to call my dad, and it was a nightmare. And of course, then I was devastated. Now it's such a silly, stupid thing to do, but I guess I was a good kid. Now, I can't say the same for some of you who have actually submitted some of the things you got in trouble for. I think the statute of limitations has expired, so nobody's going to come knocking on your door. Let's begin with Danielle. All right, Danielle is one of our regular contributors, and so she says, as far as the burning question, easy. My younger brother, who is 3 years younger, and I would always play tricks on each other and do silly pranks in each other's rooms when we were younger. We would put soap on the doorknob or a piece of string in the doorway for the other to trip and fall. So we were always getting in trouble for that. Yeah, isn't that funny how when you have a sibling, that's like what you do to each other is just torture each other, right? Same thing with our two kids. So thank you for sharing. All right, next up is Paul. I think it's the first time we've heard from Paul. But Paul says most trouble with as a kid, I would take off and skip classes while in high school. Kind of common event. Yeah, boy, that would be the dream, wouldn't it? I went to a closed campus. There was no leaving during the day. And so, yeah, fat chance of that. But you know what? Again, it seemed like such a big deal in the grand scheme. Has it really made that big of a difference? I don't think so. For Linda always contributes. She says, I probably got in trouble the most. Not that it was a lot by any stretch. For talking back. I was a smart little kid, but not self-aware enough to realize that some people didn't appreciate my sassiness. Some still don't appreciate the questions I ask. And then she says, your post really resonated with me, but I keep asking. That's good. In fact, you're going to see a pattern here because that is that talking back, right? I'm not going to take it from you. I'm going to dispute it. And boy, I don't think it ever really works, does it? But it makes you feel good. All right, Christine, another regular contributor, she gave us some thoughts too, because it was about remember the communication when I didn't ask why we were not going to Mexico. And so I think everybody had read that. So Christine says, Mac, another deep, thought-provoking post. I like that because, indeed, I have to pull from the depths of my brain for these things. It may have something to do with the burning question answer. I got in trouble the most for talking back when I was a kid. I would question what was being done or why I had to do something, and my mom mostly wanted blind obedience. Now, 58-year-old me can look back and see some of the reason she wanted blind obedience was because she didn't want to have to explain things that didn't make sense or bad decisions. Nobody wants their 12-year-old asking why we were going to the store and writing a check when Dad just said we don't have any money for the week. Some of it was because I had a sassy mouth. That sound familiar to you? So then she offers some thoughts, and I love these. Why don't we say something or ask questions? Here's some reasons I've experienced. Other people are smarter than me and have surely thought about it already. All right, number one, there's not a lot of people that are smarter than most of you. But I do agree, yet we think they've thought about it, but maybe it hasn't worried them. Or it's that other thing is somebody else has already thought of it. Somebody else is already addressing it, right? Here's another one. When I ask the question, people in power shame me for asking it, as if I'm personally attacking them or have been disrespectful. I've looked inward and checked my tone. Yeah, but you know what? That's not on you. That's for the person that's got too thin a skin. So that is not on you, but thank you for sharing. That's the third one. If the question doesn't support the prevailing thought, I'm labeled negative. Thank goodness you are not bending out of peer pressure. Sometimes it's the lone voice in the room that has the answer. I think there was an engineer, the lone voice in the room, that recommended not launching the Challenger because of the O-rings and the cold temperature, and they were quickly shot down. And you know how that turned out. If I don't have another solution ready to tee up, I shouldn't ask the question. This comes from that advice, when you have a problem, please bring me the solution. Well, if I knew the solution, I wouldn't be coming to you now, would I? So again, Ask the question. Don't wait for having a solution. Ask the question. And finally, if I haven't done any critical thinking about it and operating an autopilot, I don't care about it. Just go with the flow. And you know what? Maybe that's what many of us need to do, with the exception if you have something that needs to be said. So we might do a post on that here in the near future. We're going to be starting one here pretty quick on some values, and I think you'll find that useful. But we are going to go ahead and offer up the next burning question of the week. So let's grab the packet of questions here. And this one is actually going to mesh very nicely with today's blog, all right? Because in today's blog, we're going to be talking about some new next steps for you. So the question is, what activity did you not quit when you really wanted to, and now you are so glad you didn't quit? You can read mine in this week's post, but I'm really interested in yours. I think what you find is the things that you stuck out finally with, they eventually paid off. So I'll be anxious to hear that next week. Thanks so much for submitting. Please continue to do so. This is a really nice way for us to stay engaged. I'm always here if you have questions or comments. So enjoy the rest of the week in this week's post. I can't wait to hear your responses and the questions. We'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.